all Israel shall be saved. Under this heading, the whole nation of Israel, which includes the northern and southern kingdoms, Judah with Benjamin and all the 10 tribes are comprehended, is scattered among the nations of earth, as prophesied through Moses in Leviticus 26:27 through 33. And if you will not for all this hearken unto me, but walk contrary unto me, I will scatter you among the heathen, or nations, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Is amplified in Deuteronomy 4:23 through 31. Take heed to yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of the Lord our God, and shall do evil in the sight of the Lord thy God, to provoke him to anger. You shall utterly perish from off the earth. Ye shall not prolong your day upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and you shall be left few in number, whither the Lord shall lead you. But if from thence thou shalt seek the Lord thy God, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thine heart and all thy soul. When thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, Hebrew word is Akarith, Yamim. If thou shalt turn to the Lord thy God, and shalt be obedient unto his voice. But there is more to it than that. It is revealed to us in Deuteronomy 30:1 through 6. And it must occur that when all these words will come upon you, the blessing and the malediction which I have put before you, and you have brought them back to your heart among all the nations where Jehovah your God has dispersed you, and you have returned to Jehovah your God and listened to his voice according to all that I am commanding you today, you and your sons, with all your heart and all your soul, Jehovah your God must also bring back your captives and show you mercy and collect you again from all the peoples where Jehovah your God has scattered you. If your dispersed people should be at the end of the heavens, from there Jehovah your God will collect you, and from there he will take you. Jehovah your God will indeed bring you into the land of which your fathers took possession, and you will certainly take possession of it. And he will indeed do you good and multiply you more than your fathers. And Jehovah your God will have to circumcise your heart and the heart of your offspring, that you may love Jehovah your God with all your heart and all your soul for the sake of your life. Now, there can be no misunderstanding that God, speaking through Moses, was addressing the children of Israel that had been redeemed out of Egypt in all three of these passages. And in so doing, he was addressing them as a nation separated from all other nations, and so separated for the carrying out of his purposes. They were of the direct line from the 12 patriarchs, sons of Jacob, grandsons of Isaac, the son of promise of Abraham, with whom God made his covenant of promise. It is in this connection that we return to Leviticus 26:40 through 42, remembering that we left off at verse 33. If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespass which they trespass against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that also I have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies, if then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. There can be absolutely no doubt whatsoever that Jehovah, the God of Israel, who foresaw the scattering of the nation, intended to restore them to the land that their fathers possessed, and that it was to take place in the latter days, or Akarith Yamim. It was also to take place after the nation, in humility, had prostrated themselves before Jehovah their God, confessing their sins and the sins of their fathers in the face of some tribulation. In Jeremiah 37 it is stated, Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. The passage goes on to say, For it shall come to pass that in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, the Lord, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds. And strangers shall no more serve themselves of him, but they shall serve the Lord their God. Then in verses 22 and 24 we read, And ye shall be my people, and I will be your God. The fierce anger of the Lord shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intents of his heart in the latter days. Continuing in chapter 31. At the same time, saith the Lord, I will be the God of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. The Lord appeared unto me, saying, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore, with loving kindness have I drawn thee. Again I will build thee. Thou shalt yet plant vines upon the mountains of Samaria. Behold, I will bring them from the north country, and gather them from the coast of the earth. Hear the word of the Lord, O ye nations, and declare it. He that scattereth Israel will gather him, for the Lord hath redeemed Jacob. Verses 27 and 28. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and the seed of beast. And it shall come to pass that like as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, saith the Lord. Jeremiah 16, 14 and 15, and then chapter 23, 7 and 8, expressed in slightly different words, much the same thought, declaring. Jeremiah 16, 14 through 15. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, The Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Jeremiah 23, 7 through 8. So then the days are coming, declares the Lord, when people will no longer say, As surely as the Lord lives, who brought the Israelites up out of Egypt. But they will say, As surely as the Lord lives, who brought the descendants of Israel up out of the land of the north, and out of all the countries where he had banished them. Then they will live in their own land. It may be seen from these two passages that the exodus from Egypt is a type of the greater exodus that is to come at the commencement of the latter days. And just as the disunited tribes in bondage in Egypt were by the Spirit of God united and in a night became a nation, the nation redeemed by the Lord, even so in the exodus to come, the divided and scattered nation will once more be united in their removal from all the countries of the earth to the rallying point before entry into the land of their fathers. It is here that we turn to Ezekiel 20, 33 through 38 for a very detailed account of what is to happen. As I am alive is the utterance of the Lord Jehovah. It will be with a outpoured rage that I will rule as king over your people. And I will bring you forth from the peoples, and I will collect you together out of the lands to which you have been scattered with a strong hand and a stretched out arm and with outpoured rage. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the peoples and put myself on judgment with you there face to face, just as I put myself on judgment with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I put myself on judgment with you, is the utterance of the Lord Jehovah. And I will make you to pass under the rod and bring you into the bond of the covenant. And I will clean out from you the revolters and the transgressors. For out of the land of their alien residence I shall bring them forth. But unto the soul of Israel they will not come. And you people will have to know that I am Jehovah. There are numerous other passages that are parallel to these, declaring the intention of the Lord Jehovah, the God of Israel, many of them repetition, other explaining or expanding the theme, but all strengthening what has already been quoted. No excuse is offered for these lengthy quotations from the scriptures themselves. It is the word of God that is alive and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. Not our opinions nor our interpretations of that word. The Holy Spirit alone can enlighten us through the word. We can but hold it forth and indicate its sequence, that others may be led to grasp what we have been shown therein, praying in earnest that they may see and understand. Before closing, attention should be drawn to one other passage that described at great length the deep feelings of a man of God on this subject when he was giving visions of what shall be in the latter days, the prophet Daniel. He was considering at the time the prophecies of Jeremiah, and he was brought to his knees in prayer and supplication and sackcloth and ashes. And I prayed unto the Lord my God and made my confession and said, O Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him, and to them that keep his commandments. We have sinned and have committed iniquity and have done wickedly, and have rebelled, even by departing from thy precepts and thy judgments. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants the prophets, which spake in the name of our kings, our princes, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day. To the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel near and far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven them, because of their trespass, and they have trespassed against thee. O Lord, hear, O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and do. Defer not for thine own sake, O my God, for thy city and thy people are called by thy name. By some catastrophe, bringing further distress, affliction, and persecution, God's people Israel, known and unknown to us, are by the words of the prophets heading for the time of Jacob's trouble, which is not the great tribulation of the sons of Leah, Tau, Aeonus, the prelude to the restoration, the worldwide exodus. The words of Daniel 9, 3 through 19 are the words that the Lord their God desires to hear from every home and synagogue the world over. It will come, be it soon or later, but the longer it is withheld, the deeper into trouble they will go. Israel has today no sacrifice to offer for sin or trespass. And Godward they are helpless, but insofar as they are nationally concerned, there are yet two words of real comfort. The first is in Ezekiel 11:16. Thus saith the Lord, although I have cast them far off among the heathens, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. The others from Psalm 51:17 through 19. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart. O God, thou wilt not despise. Do good in thy good pleasure unto Zion. Build thou the walls of Jerusalem. Then shalt thou be pleased with the sacrifices of righteousness, with burnt offerings and whole burnt offerings. Then shall they offer bullocks upon thine altar.